in charge of mechanics and transport, but I like mechanics very much. Even I enjoy it when I'm doing.
So this is an experiment to show that carbon dioxide can be prepared by the action of hydrochloric acid on marble chips.
I'm a science teacher, and I've seen that girl students participate better when there is a female teacher.
Now, do your direct and the action. You've already done that. You don't need to do that.
I like doing sciences because they are more practical.
I'm an electrical engineer, and I enjoy it because it's interesting, challenging, and it keeps me thinking.
In most societies, men's and women's roles have been well defined through generations. Just like girls are guided towards future roles as mothers and housewives, boys are geared to work outside the home to provide for their family. But times are changing. The once so firmly established pattern is breaking up, providing new challenges and opportunities for women.
It is very important for women to be active in the technical area, which will eventually lead into the industrial world, because they are a very significant part of our population. As we are speaking today, we have got 5 million pupils in primary schools. Nearly 50% are girls. And again, as we are speaking now, we have got 500,000 pupils in secondary schools. In this group, 40% are girls. But now the disappointment comes when we arrive at the level of technical training, where the population of girls is about 2%, 2 to 3%, very little. Now, what does this mean? It means that in a country which is becoming industrialized, a big part of our population is going to miss opportunities for employment.
Yeah, since I joined school, I have always liked science subjects. So when I finished my Form 6 classes, I just applied for a technical course. And fortunately, the Kenya people decided to admit me since I had qualified. First, it was a bit hard because you have to make those men accept you even in class. Because like now when I went to college, we were about 2 ladies amongst 30 men. So we had also to work very hard and show them we are even better than them. Yeah, so that they can accept us in class.
And after 2 years with women on the electrical engineering staff, Kenya Power and Light has opened the doors for many more women in this field, and the supervisors are very satisfied.
Actually, some of the women are much more reliable than men. They even work much more harder. Their output is much higher. So if you particularly, it depends with the lady. Just like you can gauge a man personally, ladies are also equally productive, if not better.
Still, many employers hesitate to employ women in responsible jobs because they are responsible for the family. The electronic engineer teaching at Kenya Polytechnic knows it can be a problem and has, like many other women, found her solution.
Yeah, when a child is sick, when they're small, you have to take permission from work to go and actually attend to them. But as they grow bigger, some of our husbands are quite good and they can actually take the role of taking them to hospital and you come to work. The other problem that we might have is maybe the ire running away or something of the sort. What I have done in my case, being a control lecturer, I have a 1+1 standby system, and that means I have 2 maids. So I'm sure to have somebody in the house all the time. I've never really been away from work on account of not having a maid.
And the employers also have registered this. Here, the principal of Mombasa Polytechnic.
As far as I'm concerned, When I have a job and a woman comes up and is qualified, a man also comes up and is qualified, I will select and employ whoever meets the requirements and passes the interview. I do not have any preference for a man or for a woman.
I started my training at the National Youth Service. In fact, when I went there, I want to be a driver. But when I reached there, I found there are some men working as a mechanic, so I decided to join a mechanic. After my training, so by a good luck, I got a job for bar dry cleaners, where I'm working now. In fact, I want to encourage all the women to join mechanics because they think it is for men only, not for men, because there's no difference between me and another woman working in the office.
But right now the problem is these girls don't know that they can be mechanical engineers. And the parents might be, they don't want to see the girl with an overall in the garage. So apart from breaking the attitude of the girls themselves, we have also to break the attitude of the parents.
So she has a tendency of trying to assert herself in the community of rough boys once in a while. You'll find her wanting to play more with the toys, the cars, instead of the things that are more relevant to the to girls generally. So at this particular stage, she won't have the mind of doing anything, but she's very ambitious, courageous to do anything that a man can. This morning, to give you an example, our car couldn't start in the morning. And when I told her to stand aside so that the boys and the strong ones pushes, she said, no, I'm very strong, look at me, So I thought that was very encouraging. And I think the society we are living in today, you need to be able to be assertive in life, to be able to get into the market that's very aggressive today. And I think in the labor market of today, the technical areas are better off. So I like it when I see her trying to think about getting to the difficult areas.
Most girls tend to think that science subjects are quite hard. So they kind of prefer them to art subjects where they just have to read. And it's just that idea of they think it's hard. It's not that they can't do it. They can do it. Yeah.
Girls too are deciding for themselves to enter technical jobs that were once the domain of men.
You have to keep abreast with the changes of times, such that when something comes, you'll be able to handle it. Like in my case, I'll give an example of my case. Where I'm working, I repair coin boxes, mainly electronic parts. But that section is really advancing that even this little telephone is being controlled by a microprocessor. So if you don't know what a microprocessor does, you won't be able to work on the equipment because you've got to understand how it will communicate with the telephone so that it takes the message as required.
I'm studying in a building department and I'm doing a course in Higher National Diploma Water Engineering. I've been sponsored there by the Ministry of Water. From my background, when I was in primary school and even secondary school, I was schooling in a school whereby we were 5 ladies and 30 men. So all this time I got involved with men and in a way I liked the careers that are undertaken by men. So even in choosing my course, I wanted to take the challenge. And actually it is good to take the challenge, otherwise life even itself is becoming hard. Yeah, and we have to take some of these courses. We have no alternative. There is no many jobs, and so you have just to take sometimes the chance that comes.
Now, the Kenyan solution to this problem is that we should think more of self-employment. By the turn of the century, all being well, I think we should be creating 500,000 jobs through this sector, which would not have been possible without this sector. Now, with jobs created, economic development will be stimulated. But within that job creation, we shall also be increasing our capacity, technological capacity for the country. And it is very good for us, and probably it's one of the only ways, one of the best ways currently of creating employment in the developing countries.
When asked about future dreams, it seems like women are ready.
Even when I have enough money, I can open the garage.
And if I have the capital, maybe I'll have to start my own business, maybe start a school.
With the strong motivation among women themselves and the greater awareness of the need for more women in technical training and trades, the question is how to make it happen.
Well, the responsibility for changing the situation lies in several areas with several actors in the situation. But I think perhaps at the end of the day, it rests with government because it has a responsibility to ensure that the resources of a nation are fully harnessed and directed to the development process. So at the end of the day, I think government does have a major responsibility to provide the leadership and provide the kinds of legislation, the sort of incentives that would allow all the participants that have to be involved in the process of enhancing participation of women in the technical fields. Government has to provide all these factors to encourage them to do their part.
There are still only few women in technical fields, but their numbers are growing. Women in overalls repairing cars, women in charge of planning and maintaining sewage systems, women carpenters, engineers, laboratory technicians. It used to be considered male territory, but times are changing. Women are entering the technical fields. They are good and they enjoy it. Technical education and the training may also be the best background for finding a well-paid job or starting a business on your own. And the developing countries are recognizing that they cannot achieve the development they want and need without including women, half the population. But what does it take, and where does it all begin?
It goes back to when I was a little girl. I'm the only girl in a family of 6. And being brought up with brothers, I think geared me into this, especially because I could not see why they had to have things easier for them. For example, when we went to get water, I had to carry water on my back. And they made some wheelbarrows, which they used to carry the water. And I made mine with the help of my father, who did not see anything funny in that. And from that time, I was interested in doing the work that they do. In everything that they did, I was involved. And then when I was in high school, I was in a girls' school, which was a bit difficult because I couldn't do much. But I still did science. I participated in science congress, in physics mainly, and I could make the things that I needed using the wood, nails, and everything. And then just before I finished my education, my Form 4, there was a teacher from Kenya Science Teachers College who came to teach at my former school, Kahuya Girls. And she told us that Kenya Science Teachers College offers teacher training education in woodwork, metalwork, motor mechanics. And I was interested, electrical also. I was interested, and that is how I ended up going to Kenya Science. And then in 1984, I went to Britain, College of St. Mark and St. George, which is a college of the University of Exeter. And I did craft design and technology. And then when I came back, I came to teach here, where I teach workshop practice and technology, and I specialize in carpentry and joinery. You find that if you press too much there, the plane will not move very much. So you have a pressure down on your right hand and on the knob also. And can you notice that when I get to the other side, I lift my plane, and then I start again. I lift it. Because if I don't, then I'll be doing something like that. I've got rid of all the saw marks. If you come to my house, the furniture I have, I made all of it. When I was expecting my daughter, I made her baby cot, and it gives you a lot of satisfaction. If anything breaks in the house, I don't have to call anybody. I'll be able to do it myself.
I'm studying medical laboratory technology, basically on medical science. And I have been here for almost 3 years now. I thought that most probably, because I'm not the first African woman to do this, said I should also join in and see what is happening. As far as discoveries are concerned, and more diseases are coming out, so I thought it was better to see what causes the particular diseases in particular. A friend of mine who was doing laboratory technology in a medical training college, not in a polytechnic in particular, and she was quite interesting in telling me what was going on, and the language was quite technical, and I liked because it was more on human than any other creature around or animal or like. In particular, I have interest in the particular field. As far as patients, humans are concerned, I feel more lifted up when I'm doing the particular job in a particular field, science in particular, in medicine and the like. I intend to do a lot more, study more, and know more about it.
We may like to mention here that the condition in man is usually self-limiting. What do you mean by self-limiting is that the trophozoites may be cleared out of the system during a diarrheic spell, but then you end up treating with an appropriate antiprotozoal drug that is going to relieve the patient of these kind of symptoms.
Unfortunately, one lady was not around today. We are 4 girls.
How is it just to be 4 girls in a classroom of boys?
I don't think we have thought much about this because we are not competing at all. And we haven't thought of competing as a men field or a lady field. We are just doing it as per interest of someone, as far as our class is concerned. It is lively. We like it. As I would think I'm educated and I would expect some more education. I don't mind a husband really, but I'll be earning my own living. I will depend on myself. If there is any problem about that, as any African woman would want to marry traditionally. But that we leave it aside because I don't know what lies ahead. I might not. But at the moment, I'm more interested with my education, and I haven't thought much about marriage yet.
How did you become principal lecturer?
Yeah, first of all, I've been in the department for a very long time, and I have done a very good job in the department. But the procedure is when the Teacher Service Commission, who is our employer, advertises these jobs, and the most qualified person gets it. So I just happened to be the most qualified person at that time when the jobs were advertised. So I got it. Now, when you go for interviews, they don't think of men and women. They look at your ability. And I happened to be able, and therefore I got it. The positive sides are that when you work in this area, you encourage other girls who also see you as their lecturer. And then you do something much more interesting, really, something that is different from the old stereotyped jobs for women. Before, women used to be nurses, primary teachers, and so on, but nowadays things have changed. So you go into a much more adventurous world. In fact, I find you learn more if you are in. I've found it quite interesting for me because I have actually learned a lot of things by being an electrical engineer.
Right from the beginning, I was always encouraged to do science subjects, and it has always been my interest, to continue with science, with the sciences. And I did plan to do medicine. That was my intention. But then somehow I just landed up in teaching, and I enjoy it. It's good to see that the students progressing under my guidance, and I get that satisfaction out of it. When I first joined this school, there was a male teacher here who was the head of the department, and I did have problems, slight problems with him. He would think that maybe I'm new in this school, so I want this change and that change. I saw that many things were not running as they should be, and that's when I pointed that out, and they did not like it. They thought a lady teacher, coming and being maybe bossy, but where I thought things were not running as they should be, I did intervene. And then I'm glad the headmaster realized that I have the ability to be the head of department. So just about 3 months after I joined the school, I was made the head of the department. Right now we're going to carry out an experiment to show the preparation of carbon dioxide. So I would like all of you to come around here. Right, now who's going to tell me how we prepare carbon dioxide? Which is the solid that we commonly use?
Marble chips.
Marble chips. And which is the liquid that is commonly used? Hydrochloric acid. Towards the first term, we have some male teachers, who come here as trainees. And according to what they tell me, they say that the girls do not participate as much as the boys do. And that's when I say, no, I don't agree with him, because in my classes, I noticed that the girls are more active and they are participating more in the discussion than the boys. So I definitely would think that this has an influence on, me teaching, a lady teaching the girls. They feel closer to me.
Lucy, how is it you're doing what you're doing?
Okay, I'm studying in a building department, and I'm doing a course in Higher National Diploma Water Engineering. I've been sponsored there by the Ministry of Water. Yeah, before I was doing ordinary diploma, still in the same Kenya Polytechnic. After going out for some 2-3 years, now they have sponsored me back. My parents didn't have any opposition. Otherwise, they knew me as a lady who used to work very hard. In fact, I used to compete with the boys even in those lower classes. And when they heard that I had taken this course, actually they were happy. Yeah. Otherwise, they have been encouraging me to go on and on. Even this time when I was coming back for my higher national diploma, they were very much for it. And all these people, my husband, my parents, they have been encouraging me. Especially in my field, mostly we deal with surveying of pipelines. And you find that it is in the rural areas which are not very much developed. So you find that in most cases you are out of the station and you have to go out and camp. So the conditions are quite tough, but we have been coping with them. Actually, what is there is that he has to be very understanding. And in my case, my husband is quite okay. He trusts me when I'm out, and he has been helping me in that area.
Try to focus the eyepiece.
Okay, I would encourage more women to go into these careers, since we find that in careers that we find most women, there are so many that such that competition is so much. But in these other courses whereby most of the population is men, there is not much competition.
Well, in the first place where I was looking for a job, I had just finished college. I was here at the Polytechnic doing my ordinary diploma in electrical engineering. So I was on a bursary. Now, the bursary, there was no guarantee that you get a job after the completion of the course. So after the course, I had to look for a job. And it happened that that was the first employer who replied that they wanted me. So I went in there. I am married with 5 children, aged between 10 and 7 months. My firstborn is 10 years old.
How does that work together with a hectic life as a student?
Not the best. It's not the best because as a student, I'll give you an incident. When I came here, I was very heavily pregnant. In fact, it's very interesting that when I came here and the head of department realized that it was me coming for the course, the first thing he told me, "It is you coming?" I said, "Yeah. Will you manage?" I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "With this?" I said, "This is a passing cloud. Soon it will go out." And then I'll be able to go on with the course. So when I came in here, I was in class for just 1 month, and then the time came for the baby. When the baby came, I was in class. So I stayed on and finished my lesson at around 10. So when people were going for break, I was going to the hospital. So by midday, I had delivered. So I stayed home for about 2 weeks. Since when you're in college, when you stay out long, to see who loses. So I had to pray my God so that I have a normal delivery, and then after delivery I don't have any problem of maybe being sick, so that I would come back to class. Otherwise, I would be able to lose my chance in the college. But one thing I have to put in here is that my husband is also very helpful. Unlike other men who may frustrate the wife, maybe after you've gone for further training, he has been very helpful to me, maybe helping me sometimes even with my homeworks. If he's able to, like, things which you can do, like management, he can help me wherever I'm not able to. Sometimes when I'm busy with my homework, he can mind on the children, maybe help the maid out how the children will be eating in time to go to bed. That happens maybe when we have our late classes. We leave here at around 7:30. So when I go home, I find the children they have eaten, some are ready to go to bed. Yeah. But it is not the best to be a mother, a student, and a wife, because you really have to sacrifice to do your work. But you have to satisfy all the sides. The children have to at least know when they say, "Mommy, I don't have this," you have to do something to them. When your husband says, "Today I want to see you," you also have to have that time for him. At the same time, you must do your homework and at least get acquainted with your books, so that when you go back to college, you won't say that since I'm a mother, I know they'll just understand. Because with college is college. No matter whether you're old or young, you have come to do the same things. So there'll be no excuse. So you have to put in some more effort in that.
Okay.
Next.
31. 20.
But the data is not the same. In fact, I always admire my women teachers, because I said if they can reach that level, then I can even reach higher. So I'm always encouraged to have them, teaching the men, and then them being in front there as the only one they're listening to. Maybe you would go up higher, maybe even be a professor, to have more, so that the men can also realize that. I think in knowledge there is no sex. Yeah. So long as you got the determination and the knowledge with you, you can do anything, irrespective of whether you're a man or a woman.